This is the season for loved ones and reaching out to family. And AARP has put together a comprehensive list to help all of us when we're visiting an older loved one this season. Eleanor Ginsler is AARP's Senior Vice President for Livable Communities and is joining us from Washington, D.C. this morning. Good morning, Eleanor.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us.
It's my pleasure.
Well, first off, I'd love it if you could just remind us all how important it is to check in with your elderly family members that are in our lives right now.
You know, AARP thinks the holidays are a great opportunity because most of the time, this is the time of year when across the generations, people come together, often under one roof, and maybe haven't done that for a while. So this is a great time to not just celebrate that holiday, which AARP hopes everybody does, but also take this opportunity of being in that home to check up on how mom and dad are doing. And we recommend you look at the home, you look at their health, you look at their driving, and then you talk to them in these AARP family conversations about how things are going now and how they want things to be in the future.
Well, it really is so important. And what happens if it's actually time to reassess where they're living or how they're living so that they can best live their lives?
Yeah, and it is all about them leading their best life possible.
Sure.
And AARP thinks actually these are conversations that should happen regularly. It's always time to assess how they're doing.
Yes.
So you could go home, it might be you haven't been there for a while, you notice some things around the house that are a sign that everything is not wonderful. That's going to be the information you're going to use to open that conversation up with your mom and dad, saying, I'm worried about you, I care about you, I want the best for you, and I couldn't help but notice that. And it could be conditions in the house.
Right. And, you know, I'm glad you said that because I'm thinking, you know, a lot of times it's a very sensitive issue as people age and they start to get more sensitive about things, especially when they get offended if you're noticing something's changed. And I wanted you to, as an expert, really give us a diplomatic way of dealing with that. So basically telling them first you care about them and starting that way is what you would say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to start with those I statements that talk about your feelings and position this as your way of connecting your feelings to them. And absolutely, AARP recognizes this is not about taking away anything from the older parent.
Sure.
This is always a conversation that is done with respect and dignity. And in a way, absolutely keeps your parents in charge of their lives by engaging in these conversations.
And I think that's really a nice thing because if you engage with them and you let them know they're still your parent, you're not disrespecting them, but you care. And I think that's the message, right? That's pretty much what you want to get across.
That's exactly right.
Now, what about the health care itself? How do we deal with the health care?
Yeah. So you want to be checking on your folks' health conditions, and you want to be looking at how they are. You're not a healthcare professional, you're not a doctor, but you are their kid, and you can see if things have changed. So you might notice, for example, that it looks like their arthritis is getting worse. That's a great opportunity for you to engage on that topic and say, Mom, let's talk about your doctor. When was the last time you were there? What's he doing for you about your arthritis? That might lead you to a conversation about your prescription drug medication. This is the time of year between now and the end of the year where people on Medicare have the opportunity to change their prescription drug plans. And so talking about how their health is a really good opportunity to check up on their prescription drug plan and make changes if that's going to be a better plan for them.
Sure, and in the end, instead of being offended by it, they actually end up appreciating it.
We absolutely hope so. And not only do we want families to talk together, we want to recognize that AARP is there to help as well. So we have materials on our website. That's www.aarp.org to help you with these decisions.
AARP.org. Okay. And speaking of decisions, I think a big decision, of course, you were talking about changes in prescriptions. Finances become a very big issue. So do you have any specific advice on how you can help your elderly family members handle their finances? Okay.
And we know, again, it's not unusual. Talking about money is a hard thing, hard for all people, and absolutely going to be a hard dynamic. AARP recognizes that. So around finances, again, for AARP, this is not about taking anything away from your older parents, but rather making sure that they're organized so that if there were an emergency, you, their adult child, can act on their behalf because you know where their things are and you know how to access them. So it's about them making a New Year's resolution, perhaps, to put a file together that lists their bank accounts, that lists their Social Security number, that includes the information about their doctors and their medications and their insurance, and puts it all in one place where you can get to it if you need to.
Oh, that is all such great advice, Eleanor. Thank you so much for educating us about how we can assist the people we love so much. Thank you.
That's what it's about. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Have a happy holiday.